As you might know, the new game in the Legend of Zelda series comes out in less than 3 months, but a lot of the gameplay and story is still vague to us. This is in my opinion a genius way that Nintendo shows the game off like this. So let's talk about how I think the trailers of Tears of the Kingdom are actually amazing. The build up to Breath of the Wild was amazing for a variety of reasons, but one of the major curiosities among Zelda fans at the time was how the beloved series would translate to an open world setting, and Nintendo would reveal almost exactly how in the various teasers and trailers for the game. But in doing this, they showed a lot of the game before release, in my opinion a bit too much. Much of the game was seen before release, gameplay, story beats and part of cutscenes, a lot of cutscenes. This gave fans the impression that there was gonna be a pretty thorough story element and a good amount of cutscenes in the game, a trend that previous games had held themselves to, but on release players interested in that specific element were sorely disappointed. But let's go back to the main point of the video, the trailers. It seemed like Nintendo needed to convince people by showing off what the game had to offer. But since discovering things yourself is such a big part of the game, this approach took a lot away from that aspect for anyone actively keeping an eye out on the trailers. And while the story wasn't up to the standards of all the Zelda games, it still was charming and heartbreaking. And showing off the few cutscenes the game had wasn't the right move in my opinion. It may have helped the game to sell the now 30 million copies which are out there in the wild. Especially after the not so spectacular release of the Wii U and the sales numbers the console got. With Tears of the Kingdom they turned this around. This is likely because of a few reasons. With Breath of the Wild having sold over 30 million copies in total, Nintendo probably has the confidence in the open world Zelda formula. And because of this, they don't feel the need to prove that it works. Secondly, people already know what Breath of the Wild is like, and since Tears of the Kingdom will have a similar gameplay loop, people who played the first game will already know if they will like the sequel. And last but not least, Nintendo knows how to hold over their audience with tense trailers that make you sit on the edge of your seat, waiting to play the game. So now let's talk about the actual trailers. Trailers for Tears of the Kingdom have been dropping since way back in 2019. But Nintendo only counts the last 2 trailers as official trailers. The first one with the title reveal back in the September 2022 Direct, and the second one in the February Direct not too long ago. As I said earlier, what's so genius about these trailers is that Nintendo sprinkles in too little information for you to make out what's happening, while still showing amazing looking gameplay and story cutscenes. A vastly different approach than the lead up to Breath of the Wild. In the September Direct trailer they showed off parts of a mural, but it looks like they didn't show it entirely, which shrouds it in mystery. They also show a few scenes including Link opening giant doors on a sky island. And of course the reveal of the name at the end. This trailer really shows how careful they are with showing off information about the game, especially with how little gameplay they showed. Important imagery and interesting new environments are shown off and introduced without necessarily building on them too much and giving away too much of the mystery. With the latest trailer shown in the last Direct being the biggest trailer to date, they showed off a lot more. But in comparison with the Breath of the Wild trailers, it's still barely anything. This trailer did provide us with some gameplay, but not enough to really make it any context. What they showed looked really cool in my opinion, but most story elements are still unknown to us. At least we know Ganon talks. Of course, if it was Ganon talking to begin with. So what's your opinion? Do you agree with me? Or do you have a different opinion? Let me know in the comments. If you liked this video, please consider subscribing and dropping a like. Peace out.